Hey there and welcome back to Rimworld. My name is Pete and today we complete the 10th episode of our Rimworld Ice Sheet Survival series. Before we get started, a quick heads up. Today's episode will be a tiny bit shorter than usual. There are several reasons for that, but it all comes down to the fact that I'm pretty busy at the moment, and so I thought I'd rather give you a slightly shorter episode than a delayed one. So let's get to it. We continue right where we left off last time. Our tribal colonist Cambiar just survived a tornado, a pirate raid and a scyther, and at the moment we also have a manhunting pack of Muffalo roaming around the entrance to our base. However, we have already sealed ourselves off and so those shouldn't be a problem. An emerging flash storm here, however, might be. Luckily though, there is a bit of distance between the impact zone and our base, so I don't think Cambiar is in danger. Now we can also see that one of the Muffalo has wandered into our traps, and this is of course very convenient as it now provides us with a nice source of meat and leather. So a few moments later we can actually quickly haul the corpse back inside, but of course we want to make sure that Cambiar does not stay outside of our defenses for too long, otherwise the remaining Muffalo will go after him. In this case they just hammer at the door for a minute, so I think we can risk it one more time and also haul the scyther corpse back inside. The Muffalo then immediately gets slaughtered for a nice yield of 41 leather and 147 Muffalo meat. And we also still have 5 human corpses from the raid in the last episode, so Cambiar can now butcher those as well. Alright, here we are. Everything is chopped into bits and pieces, and we were able to salvage quite a bit of equipment in the process as well. Hauling all of that back to the stockpile will now be Cambiar's task for the next few hours, while we also get the notification that another group of Muffalo is passing by. This group is peaceful, however, and just passing by, so we'll leave them be. I don't want to risk aggroing another group. One thing that we can also quickly haul back into our base is a poor quality machine pistol. This one was dropped by one of the raiders last episode. It has deteriorated slightly, but we still want to add it to our stockpile to trade it down the line. For the rest of the day we can then watch Cambiar clear out his workspace before he then goes to bed. And while he is asleep, a very interesting turn of events happens. A formerly man-hunting Muffalo has self-tamed. So this Muffalo has now gone from hunting Cambiar to obeying him, and that means we now have several options. We could of course simply slaughter the animal for more meat and leather, or, and I think this would spice up the playthrough a bit, we could try to keep it alive as Cambiar's companion. Over the course of the next few days, the Muffalo would then produce milk for us, and it would also grow wool, both products that we could harvest. And to get us started, I will be going with that second option. I admit it will be a bit of a challenge. The Muffalo of course needs something to eat, and contrary to Cambiar, it is not a cannibal, and so we definitely need some form of plant matter to feed it. Now we could make some kibble, a mashup of plant matter and meat specifically designed to feed animals, but of course that doesn't remove the overall need for plants. Now those areas that you just saw me create there, those will become our new animal area, providing the Muffalo with a safe space inside of the mountain, as well as with an area outside to roam around. We then fast forward a few hours until we get our next event, and this time we once again have crashed cargo pods. Inside of them, 30 unfertilized chicken eggs, which can be eaten both raw and cooked, and when used in cooking they actually act as a substitute for meat. For the moment, however, I don't think we're going to eat them, neither raw nor cooked, but we'll still queue them up for hauling. We never know when we might need them. By the way, you might have also noticed that Cambiar can now safely exit the base again. This is because several of the man-hunting Muffalo have already wandered off. One of them, we just saw it, has self-tamed, and the last remaining one has fallen asleep. As far as I know, sleeping will also always end the manhunting phase, so should you get overrun by a group of manhunting animals, it is a very good strategy to just let them tire themselves out. Now let's get back to our Muffalo pad real quick, because I'm just creating a stockpile here that will act as sort of a feeding area. Now we'll set the priority here to critical. That means Cambiar will always make sure to restock it, and then we'll use the stockpile for hay, kibble, and this is interesting, also for hops. Now hay and kibble are both designed as animal food in the game. Hops, however, is actually meant as a crafting material to produce beer. It is therefore inedible to humans, but not to animals. And to get us started here, we will make use of that, because apart from smoke leaves, hops is the only type of plant matter that we have available. We don't have much, and as far as I know, we can't use it to make kibble, so our Muffalo will have to eat it raw, and that will reduce our reserves quite rapidly. Still, I think it will serve us for a few days. Now, I have read somewhere that smoke leaves are actually also edible to animals. I haven't yet tested it out myself though, so if one of you guys could give me a definite answer to that, that would be great. Now let's go back to Cambiar, who is quickly reconstructing the gateway door at the entrance to our base. This one was destroyed by the Scyther last episode, but this door might have actually saved Cambiar's life, because it provided him with just enough time to rearm 1 or 2 additional steel deadfall traps. With the door constructed, we'll then take advantage of the fact that we have one Muffalo still roaming around. This is the one that fell asleep after manhunting for a good 1.5 days, and I think Cambiar's machine pistols should make for a quick hunting trip. Alright, the Muffalo is down already, so let's take a few more shots to put it out of its misery. Lovely, that's one more animal to slaughter. Now, I doubt our own Muffalo is going to be all that happy seeing us carry his body around here, but that's life out on the ice sheet for you. Now, before Cambiar heads off to bed or does anything else, we're not going to make the same mistake that we did last episode, so Cambiar can now start rearming our deadfall traps. I don't want to get surprised by another Scyther in the night. Alright then, here we are, the base is back to normal, everything is cleaned up and repaired, and that means Cambiar has earned his rest. The same is true for our Muffalo, which is currently sleeping outside, but let's put an animal sleeping spot inside of the mountain here, that way it will have a slightly more secure shelter. Speaking of security, we have more problems on the horizon, as just a few moments later we are hit with probably the most annoying event in Rimworld right now. A zit goes through the base and a power conduit catches fire. All of that inside of our storage room, no less, so to make sure that our supplies don't all go up in smoke, we want to put out the fire immediately. The conduit itself then luckily did not get destroyed in the fire, and so we can quickly repair it and restore the power connection. However, with one disaster averted, another one looms just around the corner, as we have another mechanoid raid coming in. Now, thankfully, it's only one single mechanoid attacking our base, so to be honest, I'm not even going to bother with sending Cambiar out here to defend. We have 7 steel deadfall traps armed and ready, and those should be more than enough to take the Scyther out without our help. And yes, indeed, everything goes according to plan. Trap number 4 kills the Scyther, and with that, the raid is over. For Cambiar, this means we now have a bit of time to haul, and there are a few things scattered around the map that we haven't taken care of yet. Now, as he heads out, we can also see that another chunk of spacecraft has fallen from the sky. This one, however, is not all that interesting at the moment. A few meters over, on the other hand, we have the corpse of a crashed survivor. And this guy actually crashed here somewhere in the last episode, so he is already out here for a few days. And before his corpse completely rots or a polar bear takes care of him, let's bring him back to the base and into the safety of our storage. Then once again, let's not forget about the traps. We have learned that another Scyther could appear at any time, and so I think it's best to be safe and rearm the traps immediately. Afterwards, it's then time for a bit of butchering. Both the Muffalo and the crashed survivor get chopped into bits and pieces, and our food and leather supplies grow accordingly. And unfortunately, that is already the point where we have to call it quits today. Once again, my apologies for the somewhat shorter episode. I think the next one will be back to full length. Now, there is one more small thing that I quickly want to ask you here at this point. As you know, we just obtained our first pet Muffalo, and I would like to hear your thoughts on whether or not we should keep it alive. I already mentioned the advantages of that, but of course we need to feed it, and that could become a problem in a few days. Now, regardless of whether or not we'll slaughter the Muffalo next episode, I have decided that I will name it after one of you. Now, I'm not quite sure if that's considered to be an honor, but yeah, leave a comment on this video, and from all of those who commented, I will pick one name at random. So fire away, let me know what you think. I hope you still enjoyed the episode even though it was a bit shorter. If you did, of course, I would be happy if you could leave a thumbs up. And as always, if you want to support the channel and haven't subscribed already, then go ahead and feel free to do so. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.